Hey everybody, welcome to another Bucs Report show. Looking forward to tonight. I am your host, Rick Hughes. We've got lots of goodies in store, all kinds of Bucs news to talk about. Looking forward, a little bit of looking back, and a little bit around the NFL. We've got lots of special guests, so hang in there and let's have a great night. Everybody, how we doing tonight? Welcome to another Bucs Report show. I'm excited to be here. I'm your host, Rick Hughes. We got all kinds of goodies and all kinds of stuff happening tonight. Got special guests. We've got just so much that's about to happen tonight. It's going to be a fun show. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you guys in the comment, in the chat. So please hit the share button, the like button, all of that, subscribe button, all of those things. Please do that. That helps us out a great deal, and it helps us to bring you the best Buccaneers content anywhere. And that's the cool part about the Bucs Report. Bucs Report is always on top of it, and help us do that by hitting the like button, hitting the share button, making comments, being involved. Want to open up the phone lines? Come on in and talk to us. So there's all kinds of goodies to talk about tonight. I want to talk a little bit about, well, you know what? Let's get into some special guests here. Let's get into the first special guest that we have. First special guest is the host of Buck What You Heard right here on Bucs Report. I rarely have the opportunity to have him on my show, and I'm very glad when he does come. I really love this guy as a guest. I love him as a host. He knows his stuff. Let's welcome to the show Mean Gene number 2. Is that what I call you, Gene Thomas?
There we go, man. How you
All
doing?
Right. Good, man. How are you?
Oh, real good, man. I'm glad to be on. Yeah, I love your show, and I always I have you on rotation, so
Awesome.
I always make sure to get you on and and listen to the show. I think you really bring it every week. So
well, we got all kinds of goodies. It's easy to bring it with a team like this. I mean, it's not like it's hard. I watch your show and I like the vibe of your show. I like the whole feel of your show. It really is a great vibe. Tell everybody where to find you and when your show is on.
If you guys go out to YouTube, you can go to Buck What You Heard. You can follow me there. Especially, I'm trying to get to that 1,000 mark with subscribers. So if you just like and subscribe, greatly appreciated. And I try to get people on the show. Just the thing I love about Bucs Report is that it's fan centric. So you try to get the fans involved because there's just not enough of that. And whether you like somebody's opinion or not, I still want to hear what you have to say. I think that's the straw that stirs the coffee, so to speak. So any chance you get, be sure to check it out. Buck What You Heard. You follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back at Buck What You Heard.
Awesome. Very cool. So, but Wednesdays and Fridays at 7:00, correct?
That is correct.
All right. Awesome. Right here on Bucs Report, but you can also catch the replay later. So there's all kinds of good things. So I appreciate you being here. A couple of things I want to go over. The Chiefs are still slightly favored to be Super Bowl champions. Can you explain that at all?
Not really. I honestly do not have an answer for it. I know that they've brought in a bunch of offensive linemen, and I think that was the knock on that offense last year was the lack of offensive linemen with that playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what gets overlooked is just how good the defense was. I really do believe that, it wouldn't have mattered what defense that you had or what offensive line you had out there, the way they were playing the game. And we saw glimpses of it. I mean, and again, I don't want to recap this for people, but I mean, you go back to week 12 and you look at the third quarter, you know, even the second quarter, second, third, fourth quarter of week 12, and the Bucs were figuring things out. The Bucs were making this game tougher than that first quarter blowout that we saw. They actually turned this into a game, and from there, they just the wheels just kept turning. So again, I'm not sure what everybody's seeing. I think they're wanting the Chiefs to be back in there again, but there are some teams that have made some moves in the AFC that the Chiefs are going to have to get past. So it's going to be interesting to see what they all come out with. But no, with the Chiefs, I know that, you know, they've done a lot, but again, there are a lot of teams that have made some pretty big moves as well. So I don't know. You're muted. You're muted, Rick.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, if they got a little bit better and the Buccaneers got a little bit worse, the Bucs still win that game.
Yeah,
I mean, it was because it was such a blowout. It was so not close. I mean, it was brutal. So there's a big part of me that just feels like, you know, everything. I don't know. I don't understand what Vegas is doing. I mean, I do get it because the one thing, and I talk about this a lot, people misunderstand the line. The line is not set where Vegas, it doesn't mean that Vegas thinks that Kansas City is going to win the Super Bowl. It means that with the lines exactly as they are, 50% of the people will vote on one side of Kansas City or Tampa, 50% on the other. It basically, what they do, the lines are set so that Vegas makes money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're literally just trying to set it to where they're going to make money. They're going to make it where 50% of you are going to go on one side, 50% are going to go on the other. They don't even look. Think about this. They don't even look at how good the teams are. They literally don't even, it makes no difference. Now, here's how it affects it. They might look at it and say, well, this team got better, so more people will vote. I mean, will bet this way or that way. But they literally do not look at a game during the season and say, all right, we're going to set the line here because we believe this team is this much better. Has nothing to do with that at all. And everybody thinks, well, Vegas has got them favored by, 3.5. Has nothing to do with anything other than that's going to get 50% of the people on one side, 50% of the other. Anyway, I'm going off. You're the guest, and I'm not shutting up. So sorry about that.
A good time, man. Partners in learning. I'm soaking it all in.
Well, that's just that to me is what people don't understand about Vegas, and they say, well, the money guys think Tampa's going to win, or the money guys think Kansas City is going to win. So no, the money guys think this is where they have to set the line. So 50% of you will, this is them saying, here's how the people are thinking. Mm-hmm. That's literally what they're doing.
Well, Rick, to be honest, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to Vegas, just like
right.
The rest of the NFL. I think
somewhere or other, Harry the Greek just had a heart attack.
I'm more of a person that follows like local sports media or local podcasts, and I know that if I want to get some information, I will go to a podcast that is more invested in the team rather than some of the things that I've seen. But
sure.
Just looking at what Tampa has been able to do, I don't know how you can bet against a team that brought back their whole starting lineup. Their whole starting lineup after winning a Super Bowl. But again, that's not for me to question. The team still has to go out and play those games. I think they're going to be in a better position with OTAs, with camp, with all the things that they were missing last year. And it's just going to kind of be scary what they could potentially do having, that much more at their disposal.
Yeah, it's terrifying to think of how good this team could be. I mean, if they reach their potential, I don't even know. Who do you think is going to be the opener?
I would like for it to be Dallas.
Okay.
Because I hate Dallas, but that's for another show.
I definitely could see it being Dallas.
Yeah. But then again, wouldn't it be cool to have Dallas on Thanksgiving? Uh,
Yeah, are they finally going to let the Bucs play on Thanksgiving? I
I
mean,
think the Bucks are going to play on Thanksgiving. I believe.
I
Don't
don't
quote me.
know.
But
Really?
yeah, I do believe
They
that.
haven't said that though, correct?
Right. They haven't said that, but
Right.
I've heard rumors.
Yeah.
We've all heard rumors one
Well,
way or the other. But
yeah.
the Bucks. When was the last time the Bucks were on Thanksgiving?
It's been forever.
Yeah.
It has been a very long time since the Bucs were on
And they
Thanksgiving.
weren't good. I don't believe they were good when they were on.
No, they were terrible. They played Dallas, I think, and they got crushed. And I think they also played, I remember way back in the day, I think I remember a Detroit game, and they lost also. So,
Yeah.
but I'm not positive on that. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think that's the case.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I look at the schedule. That would be the game. I would either want it to be Dallas or play Dallas for Thanksgiving and maybe New Orleans.
Yeah.
I would go with New Orleans because I hate them too.
Yeah. You got to think it's going to be one of those two.
Yeah.
I personally,
I would go with a division rival.
Well, I personally lean towards, I think it's going to be New Orleans because I think they're going to, especially if Jameis is the quarterback, they're going to want to.
And they're really implementing a lot of storylines in here.
Right.
Like you got the connection between Jameis and Tampa.
Right.
You got Tom Brady in New England.
Yeah.
And we could go on and on. I mean,
we get the new Saints.
Yeah.
The new look Saints.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. Exactly, I agree.
Yeah, I would have to say I could even see like maybe Miami being the first game of the season. Just, Florida.
I guess Tua. Yeah.
Yeah.
You bring Tua in there. So I guess so. Yeah. I mean, that's a little.
So if you had your Christmas present in front of you,
right,
and it was your choice of games, what would be your opening game?
Well, okay. So here's how my brain works. My brain is I look at it and I go, who's going to be better later in the year? Let's catch them early. Let's catch somebody not ready.
Oh, like
right?
The Rams?
The Rams, the Panthers. Let's catch somebody like that early. The Rams would be fine. If are we playing the Rams at home or in LA?
It's going to be in LA.
Yeah. So it won't be that game because this is a home game, right?
Okay. So yeah. So
right. So I want to catch a team that's going to be better later in the year, like the Panthers, like the Falcons, something like that. I think I'd rather catch them early. And I also think the Saints. That's why I guess if I had to choose, I'm going to go ahead and say Saints because I want to catch them early. I want to demoralize them quickly.
You're not hurting my feelings any. You're preaching to the choir. I don't know. Even aren't the Giants is the Giants as a home game too, right?
You know what? I don't even remember who the home and who the away games are. I don't want to tell you wrong, but yeah, I don't remember if that's a home or away game.
Yeah, you're right now, but yeah, I do believe that.
Yeah,
yep, it is so it's going to be Dallas, the Giants, the Bills, Miami, New Orleans, the Falcons, Carolina, and
I could see it being Buffalo because that's an exciting kickoff to the season, but I don't know that the NFL wants to immediately make one of those two teams a loser right off the top.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you want that building, you want that out there. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see.
Maybe the Giants.
That would be a sell. That would be because it's New York. So yeah, that I could see that happening. I could see that happening. Absolutely. So tell me about the Aaron Rodgers thing and your perspective on that whole fiasco.
And maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but I remember when Brett Favre was on the way out and Aaron Rodgers was the guy waiting in the wings.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think that Aaron Rodgers would remember back to that time. And, he
didn't have a problem with it then, did he?
He had zero problem with it. And, he was pretty quiet when the press was asking him about it. I remember he stayed very tight-lipped about it, and he tried to, just kind of gloss over it. But
Yep.
now the shoe is on the other foot, so to speak, with
Right.
a quarterback. But just keep in mind, I don't even know if this quarterback is ready to take the reins of a Green Bay Packers team
Right.
and all the pressure that comes with being the quarterback of a Green Bay Packers team.
But how in the world are they going to be able to keep this guy around after just? I mean, they just won't draft offense. They just won't do it. You know?
Again, I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot with with coaching the way they coached that
Right.
last game, and I don't know how they reconcile
Are you
this.
talking about the kick?
Yeah, I'm talking about the field.
Okay, I am one of the few people I think on the planet who doesn't think that was a terrible move. You know, I mean, I get it. I get questioning it in hindsight, but that could have worked out from,
I look at it this way: when you look at the flow of the game,
right?
and you're in the NFC championship game,
Right.
and you have the guy that's supposed to be this offensive guru on the field, and you're right here. You have an opportunity to change the momentum, and you go for a kick. I mean, I don't know.
Well, they were going to have to stop them no matter what.
Right.
They
Understood.
were going to have to stop the Bucs no matter what. I think what they probably did was figure, look, what if the Bucs get a field goal? We still have a shot.
Right.
Okay. But if we don't get the touchdown, the game's over. We're extending our possible window for victory if we do this. But having said that, hindsight, sure. Agreed. And at the time I thought they should have gone for it, but that's more a product of being used to teams going for it.
Right.
But when I sat and looked at it, I have always thought, and tell me if you think I'm crazy on this, I have always thought when you're watching a game, let's say you're down by 10.
Okay.
It's the fourth quarter, there's 2 minutes left, you've got the ball on the 30 with 2 minutes left. I say kick the field goal now. Right then, kick the field goal. Take the points. You're going to have to score 10. Take the points, keep as much clock as possible for your next drive. Versus run it out and then maybe end up with a field goal where you use up a minute of the clock and you could have gotten your field goal a minute previous. So
I see what you're saying, but to me, kicks aren't guaranteed in the NFL.
No,
and it's
really
it's so scary. And you've got a quarterback that's capable of putting the ball in the end zone.
Yeah,
I know he wasn't showing it earlier on, but if you take a step back and just look at the game as it was flowing, that could have been a huge momentum change for Green Bay.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about that particular example. I'm saying in general, a way that I look at it. Yeah, if it's fourth quarter, 2 minutes left, you're driving down by 10, you're on the 30. I don't care if it's first down, kick it. And I mean, you're going to have to score twice, get as much time, have the ball with as much time as possible on that second attempt. Because if you don't kick the field goal right then, you take a minute, you drive down, you get to the 10, and then you kick the field goal, you literally just wasted your minute.
I see. I could see that.
Yeah.
I definitely can see that. And it's possible that's what they were thinking. I'm pretty sure that's what they were thinking. They were, playing it safe and, potentially trying to set themselves up to get the ball back.
And to win. They were going to have to get the ball back one way or the other. Right.
One way or the other. Exactly.
Right. See, the thing is this, and I don't know that people think about this when it came to that drive, is if they did not stop the Bucs on 3 and out, if they didn't stop the Bucs, it was irrelevant because the Bucs could go down, kick the field goal, win. So they had to stop the Bucs no matter what. So they literally said, okay, assuming we stop the Bucs, what puts us in the best position? Now we can just go for the win. So I get it. I get both sides of it. I do.
And I like what Johnny Dean is saying, down in distance. Because think about this. Let me reverse this for you, Rick.
Yep.
What if they do go for 7 and they get 7, and Tampa goes down and they kick a field goal?
Right.
Then it's a closer game. It's a possibility. I know they still have to get 7, but it's still more of a possibility for them to, go down and score as well.
Right. Well, I want to address this that Matt Colson said. He said the kick wasn't where they messed up. Rodgers should have scrambled for the third down play. He threw an incomplete pass, even with an open field in front of him, that Rodgers would run any other game. Yes, but let me be clear, Matt. I don't think he was going to score. You look at a frozen shot where it looks like, okay, there's nobody in front of him, but you've got people like Devin White standing there in the end zone 2 yards deep. That guy's closing speed, even if Rodgers was equal to his closing speed, which he isn't, they're meeting halfway. That puts him at the 5 or the 4 when they meet. So it looks like there's all this open field in front of him, but you got some pretty fast players sitting there.
I have to, and let me ask you this: from the first meeting, is it possible that he had something in the back of his head just from the way he got beat up in that first game? No, seriously.
Oh, yeah. No, I was absolutely. Yeah.
And I just wonder if that goes in the back of your head. Where's Ndamukong Suh at, or where's Devin White?
Where's Devin White? Yeah. I mean, you see Devin White sitting out there lurking, and you think, yeah, never mind. I mean, seriously. I mean, that as much as we're making fun of it, there's truth to that.
I'm being very serious. I felt like he took more hits in that game, and he took quite a beating. I mean, just away from the ball, and then I'm sure that sticks in your head when you're playing. And oh man, we got to play him again for the the biggest game on the stage.
Yeah. I have somebody coming on here shortly. Here's some news, guys, for everybody. We have a very special guest coming on in a little bit here in about 15 minutes from Sports Illustrated. One of the beat writers from Sports Illustrated. We're going to bring him on, and I will talk to him about this exact subject because I think it's interesting. It's something that I find interesting.
It really is, and I think a lot of it comes back to perception. How how are you calling the game? And this, because momentum is something you can't put a statistic on momentum, and that could have possibly changed the momentum.
Well, yeah, and my thing is you're actually saying we are going to put the entire game on the line right now on this play, and if it doesn't go our way, the game is over. If we don't get the touchdown, the game's over. Now, having said that, you can also look at it and say, okay, if we kick the field goal, the game's still not going to be over for at least 3 more plays while we try to stop the Buccaneers. So you have extended the window of when the game, is still in I don't know. There's 2 ways to look at it. Either way, I get it. I understand it. Let me say this. I want to say hey to all of the Parrot Army in the pandemonium there in the chat box. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys. Look at you bringing it tonight. Johnny, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Christopher Cole, hello. Ben Parrish, hello. Matt Colson, as always, hello. You guys are awesome. And I'm going to go ahead and close up here with Gene, and then I'm going to open it up to you guys. So somebody call in here shortly. I know Stephen Glasgow has been attempting to hop in here, and we can open it up for him. So, Gene, tell everybody one more time where to find you.
You can reach me on Twitter at Buck What You Heard. You follow me, I'll follow you back. Also at Buck What You Heard on YouTube. I'm trying to hit that 1,000 mark. I'm getting pretty close. So
awesome. Yeah, we started a new YouTube channel, and we are trying very hard to get enough subscribers to where we can. That first 100 is hard because you've got to get. That's what it takes to then get your own URL with YouTube, and we're trying hard to get to that 100. So if you guys, please, if you're not sure where to go, message me. I'll get you there. Go to the Bucs Report website. We'll get you there.
I do want to say, Rick, thank you for letting me come on while you were traveling back to Carolina.
Yeah. No, it was my pleasure.
I hope I didn't ruin the show for you.
My friend, with no hesitation, I was happy to let you do that. It was, you are a show that I watch whenever I possibly can, and that's a fact. And put you on background on my television while I'm.
I appreciate that. Like I said, I love the show. What's Cooking in the South, and I think you do an awesome job. I've got to come on and bring some new recipes.
Yeah, absolutely. You and I can talk about that because I'm all about it. Actually, I want to know from everybody in the chat. I want to know if anybody in chat has a Roku. Do you guys ever watch? Do you guys have a Roku at home? And if you do, please put it in there. You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you have a Roku, please put that in the chat. I want to see if anybody else does. Because we're considering, we'll just say considering a Roku channel. So
I think all the TVs in my house we've moved from Vizio over to Roku TV, so it's just so much easier.
To what was it?
Roku TVs.
Oh no, I like Roku. I have a Roku. Johnny said he had one and hated it. I love it. You love it. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like anybody else has a Roku. So I don't know. We got to figure out whether or not it's worth the effort.
I'm all in with Roku.
Matt doesn't even know what a Roku is. He's in Oklahoma. They barely have outhouses.
Hey, we may have a giveaway and just put one out there at some point.
There you go. Here we go. Matt has Apple TV.
Oh, okay.
Same kind of thing, Matt.
Absolutely.
Okay, Andrew says he has a Roku and stick. Okay, very good.
Well, guys, I'm going to go. I won't hold you up too long. I do want to give a shout out to Smack Apparel. Love their work. Love their shirts. And if you get a chance, get out to smackapparel.com. That Beat Down in the Bay shirt, just, let everybody else in the NFL know what Tampa did in the Super Bowl. Get that shirt, Beat Down in the Bay. There is, if you are on Twitter and you're following me, hit me up. I'll get you the code to get 25% off one of those T-shirts and, add it to your collection.
There you go, Mike DeRoche.
Let's go ahead and celebrate this Super Bowl victory until we can't celebrate it anymore.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, because we're going to be celebrating the next one.
That's right.
Have a great one, Gene.
All right, my friend. Thank you
Thanks
so much
for coming by.
All right.
Thank you. All right. So, guys, now let's throw this out to you guys. I think it's time to open it up. It's your turn. All right, and before I even have to throw the link out there or anything, we've got Stephen Glasgow. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, Rick? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm actually out and about right now shopping.
What a shock. What a shock. This man is the opposite of Mike DeRoche. He's never home.
That's true. That is very true.
It's funny because we make fun of, we tease Mike about being home all the time, but anytime I'm on, I'm at home. So what am I supposed to say?
Yeah, you're a lot more like Mike than me, because anytime I'm off, I'm not home.
Well, I have to be. I got to be here with you guys, which I'm perfectly happy to do.
And we appreciate that more than you know.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. But I can tell everybody here, I don't know how it's going to play itself out, but I put a request in officially today to be transferred in my job, to be transferred down to Tampa. So we will see whether it gets approved, whether it does not get approved. We'll see how that all works itself out. But I officially put the request in today.
You know what? I'm really happy for you, Rick. That's fantastic. And I'll tell you what, you guys, we're having so much fun between you and the show and the guys in Tampa. I love living in Texas. I live here now for about 16 years, and I really love it here. But I've actually been giving that whole Florida thing some consideration myself. So,
well, let me say this. I live in Charlotte. I've lived here for 8 months, and I will tell you, Charlotte seems like a perfectly fine city. I don't really have anything negative to say about it at all. I'm not trying to act like, oh my God, I hate Charlotte. I don't. I just, right now is a really bad time to move to a new city where you know nobody.
Right.
Especially in North Carolina, where everything is shut down. Everything is way more closed down than it is in Florida or Georgia. When I lived in Atlanta or when I went to Tampa, everything is way more open and you can socialize. You can't socialize here. I literally go to work and come back home, and that's just about most of my time.
Wow.
So that part's tough. It's tough to move to a city, under that. And that's how that whole thing went down. Hey, by the way, let's get to it. Chiefs Bucs. The Chiefs are still favored. Thoughts?
Yeah, the reason why the Chiefs are favored is because everybody is so desperate to make Patrick Mahomes a new golden boy. That's my
Right.
thought.
Right.
That's my. Now they did get better on their line. They did. They're even better than they were last year.
Right.
But none of
Right.
these guys have played together yet. They bought linemen who don't have
Right.
any continuity
Right.
yet on the team. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see.
And I want to say this to you, and I want to say to Matt, because I told you guys, Matt's in the lobby waiting to come on. I told you guys on this show, on camera.
Oh, yes. I would love to be on camera, but I'm in the middle of a Walmart right now.
The next time you call, call in. Next time, call in.
I will definitely do that.
All right. Awesome. Matt just disappeared.
Matt doesn't want to show his Unabomber face? Come on
Nope,
now.
Matt doesn't want to show his Unabomber face. Nope. Oh, here he comes. All right, I'm going to go, Steven.
All right. Take care, brother.
Have a great one.
You too. Well.
All right, now let's bring in, he is showing his face, Matt Colson. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. You shamed me into this.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, this is I do very much appreciate it. So, what are your thoughts about Kansas City still being favored in Vegas? It confuses me.
Well, you said it when you were talking about why you actually taught me something about how Vegas works with the way they set the line.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I don't think if we played Kansas City 5 games this year, we'd win 3 of them, and
I think that's fair.
Would be very close. Steven said the same thing. He said that they've upgraded their offensive line, which is true.
Right.
But you mentioned it. That doesn't happen overnight. You got to.
But the Bucs upgraded their defensive line. I mean, they got Joe Tryon, and they brought everybody else back.
Right. And so they didn't really upgrade. They just kept everybody.
Well, no, they got Joe Tryon.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be a full-time starter. I think he's going to be a rotation.
No, they have depth. They have fresh legs that come in. They're better at that position this year than they were last year.
Well, yeah. I'm not going to argue that. I think we brought back 23 guys, and that's what we needed.
Is that not amazing?
Guys.
Is that not amazing?
Who else? Nobody in my lifetime has ever been able to do that.
No, not in the free agent. Not with free agency. I mean, that's just insane. And that many guys who were free agents and all of that, and they still got them all back. It is just crazy.
And I think that's gonna pay dividends because the team started out last year a little rough because they weren't accustomed to each other. They had no preseason.
Right.
They had a whole season plus a playoff schedule. They're gonna have a preseason this year. It's going to work out a lot better than
that. Is just terrifying. I mean, what is the potential? What's the ceiling for this team?
20-0. I mean, honestly, it
is that if they played to their potential every game, I don't see anybody beating them. If they played to their potential, let me say that again. If they played to their potential every game, I don't see anybody beating them.
If we didn't have a major injury issue, I would say that would be the deterrent. But Vita Vea broke his ankle, second game last year, was it? He was out the whole year until the playoffs.
Right.
We managed.
Yeah.
And we weren't supposed to. We were supposed to fall off considerably from him to the second guy.
Yeah.
And we didn't. So all that did was build our backups.
And listen, guys, I'm pretty conservative. Johnny is the same way as me. We're both fairly conservative when it comes to how we try to view the Bucs and trying not to get expectations too high and trying to, all right, I mean, what's one of my sayings? Simmer down, Sparky, right? I mean, I'm always telling everybody, just relax, simmer down, just hold on. But I look at this year and I think it's a fact. If the Buccaneers played to their potential every game, I think they are unbeatable.
How many teams are we going to play that could put 32 points on the board?
Well, let me say this.
Because we do.
Right. Let me say this. I don't think the Buccaneers are going to play to their potential every game. Okay? They are human. Stuff happens. You got bad games. You come out a little flat for this reason or that reason. Something happens here. Something happens there. Whatever. I don't think that they're going to come out and play their potential every game because nobody ever does, nobody ever has, period, end. But if they did, oof.
If it worked out magically that the offense was having an off day, but the defense was playing stellar, and then the next week the opposite happened, we'd be fine because our defense we've shown it to Kansas City. We can shut you down.
Yeah, not just Kansas City either. I mean,
No, but I mean, if you can do it to Kansas City,
that's just
they're the
insane.
walking gods
Seven
right now,
quarters, 7 quarters in a row. Kansas City has not won, has not scored a touchdown against the Bucs. I believe it's 7 straight quarters.
Them, we can do it against anybody in the league.
Yeah.
And nobody else in the league has got their speed or that quarterback they got. He's phenomenal. He's going to be a player unless he gets his leg broke.
Yeah.
He's going to be somebody for a while.
Yeah.
And he is skillful. He is fun to watch. And, they're always in the game because of that speed on the outside.
Right.
It's a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
But Tampa shut them down for a game and a half.
Yeah, I know. And it's just hard to it's hard to it's so hard for me to wrap my mind around it. I mean, to be that good is just, I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't know how else to word that. It really is ridiculous.
We've got their number, and they didn't have an answer for it.
Yeah.
Now they got a whole offseason to figure it out.
Yeah.
But we were playing the 2 over. I think we were talking about this last night. Every time Mahomes threw a ball in the Super Bowl, there was 3 defenders around the receiver. There was 1 on him and 2 playing volleyball. They were going to catch any deflection.
Right.
And it worked over and over and over again, and he had nothing he could do about it. And so he had an issue with his linemen not being the number 1 guys.
Right.
But even on a quick out, he wasn't able to complete stuff. And you and I have talked about this before. When you can hit somebody in the jersey or hit them in the helmet and they can't put their hands around the ball, it's not the quarterback's fault.
Right.
It's somebody else. So that's how I saw the Super Bowl. We just had a certain scheme going. Johnny would be able to explain it better than I do, but I could see that they were doing triangulation on every single player that was going to catch a ball. And
well, I don't even have words for what happened in that game. I really just, I mean, that sounds funny, but no, those are good words. Those are good words. Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, did you expect that? Because I didn't expect it. I thought the Bucs could be competitive. I was hoping they would be competitive. I thought they could be competitive. I thought that they could win. I did not see it being just a stomping.
Yeah, I didn't think they would go without a touchdown.
Right.
I'm scared of Kansas City. I mean, if I was a defensive coordinator, I'm not kidding with the amount of players they have that are just fast.
Yeah, you've got to pray. If the other teams have to just sit there, have to be sitting there saying, okay, Tampa is probably there unless there are injuries or something.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa's going to go again because I look at the NFC and tell me the team that they really need to be. I'll use the term scared of.
In the NFC?
Yeah.
I don't see one. I mean, Green Bay,
San Francisco.
I mean,
I'm stretching. I get it. Rookie quarterback. Well, I mean, assuming he starts, I'm stretching. Johnny, put in chat there. What is the NFC
start, isn't he, or did they let him go?
What's that?
Did they get rid of Garoppolo?
No, he's still there.
Yeah, so
he is still there.
Start.
Well, maybe. I mean, by the end of the season, I don't think Garoppolo will be starting. But.
No, I don't think by the end of the season, but they'll do what Miami did. They'll let him look good for 8 or 9 weeks and then just tell him you get to sit down now.
Yeah, and Bill Belichick is just doggy paddling in the kiddie pool, waiting for the year to end so he can get his boy back.
That might be.
Yeah.
I think the team to watch is in my eyes, the team that gets my attention is Buffalo. And
that's the AFC though.
I realize that.
Right. I'm just saying who's going to keep the Bucs out of the Super Bowl? I mean, is it Green Bay?
That's the only team that could do it. I don't think Seattle's got their stuff together yet, even with or without Russ.
Right.
And I don't think San Francisco's got their.
I think the Rams
They're
could.
not settled.
The Rams could. The Rams, but this here's the thing: the Bucs seem to line up well against the Rams and Green Bay.
Right. And,
This is what's so funny is it seems like the way the Buccaneers team is built, they line up best against Green Bay and Kansas City, etc. These are, the teams everybody else is afraid of. The Bucs happen to line up perfectly against them. Now, if you have a big team that's just going to pound it right up the center and beat the crap out of the Bucs, that's where the weakness lies. Now, even though they're good against the run, let me be clear. Even though they're very good against the run, they are the best. They are, I believe, best against the run or close to it. But like Johnny always says, those statistics can be a little bit deceiving.
Right, and if you go against a team that's got a sledgehammer like Tennessee,
right,
you're good for two and a half quarters, but eventually.
But I don't know.
Them down, right?
Yeah, because
we do that with all stock.
Look what happened to Kamara. I mean, Kamara runs for what? How many? What was it? 6 touchdowns in one game. And then, but against the Bucs, nothing. I mean, or just a little bit here and there. So I don't know.
That's why we play the games, Rick.
Yeah. By the way, I'm waiting for a call. He's I think a few minutes late here, but Skyler is supposed to be calling from he's from Sports Illustrated. He is the beat writer for my I guess I have to call it my temporary hometown here. He is the beat writer for Sports Illustrated for the Panthers, and he's supposed to be calling in at any moment, Skyler Callahan. So I'm waiting to hear from Skyler.
It's about the Sam Donaldson and all of the changes going on there in Carolina. Because we talked about this the other night where you were saying, I think it was, we were having a discussion about Carolina or the Saints coming in second. And
right.
I think it's Carolina. I think Carolina is a lot better than people are giving them credit for.
I think they're getting there. I do think they're getting there. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. Hold on, here we go. I got a call coming in. I got to take.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one.
Man.
Have a good one.
You later.
All right. So now we're going to bring our next guest here on the line, Skyler. How are you doing, Skyler Callahan? Skyler is the beat writer for the Carolina Panthers, covering the Carolina Panthers for Sports Illustrated. Is that correct, Skyler? Skyler? Hello? Skyler? Hello? All right. Let's see what's going on here. Everything is plugged in and ready to go. I'm not sure what we got going on here. Let's try him one more time. Of course, that's how this has to happen, doesn't it? Let's try. And let me try to reach out to him. And I do. There we go.
Hello?
Hi, is this Skyler?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Skyler, I'm so sorry about that. This is Rick with the Bucs Report Show. I am so sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened there.
No problem.
I answered. I could not hear you if you were hearing me.
No, you're good.
Okay.
I can hear you now, so we're good.
Excellent. It's a pleasure to have you on here, Skyler. You cover the Panthers, correct? You are the beat writer for the Panthers for Sports Illustrated. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this. I live in Charlotte.
Oh, really?
Yes, I do. I live in Charlotte. And
awesome.
It seems as though, and I want to ask you about this because when I moved to Charlotte 8 months ago, and on day-to-day life, I never saw a Panthers shirt anywhere. I saw more Pittsburgh Steelers gear or Ravens gear by far than I saw Panthers gear. Now, all of a sudden, since Sam Darnold came to the Panthers, what happened? Everybody's wearing Panthers gear.
I mean, it's a good question. I mean, I think there's definitely a turn of the tides I think a lot of it has to do with Coach Rule too. I think people are starting to buy into what he's doing,
right?
Kind of buying into the process, the draft, and everything. So I think that played a big part in it, because I think a lot of people that first year didn't really know what he was going to be, you know, how things were going to turn out with him being a college coach. But I think they're starting to see the progress that's being built.
Okay, can you explain to me?
I totally agree.
Can you explain to me what's the fascination around here with Pittsburgh or the Ravens? I mean,
well, it might be from David Tepper. I know he was up there with the Steelers for a little bit. So it might
yeah,
be something with that. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of people down this way from Pittsburgh, West Virginia. I'm from West Virginia originally. I moved down here 6 years ago. So
okay,
there's nothing really up there. So
I'm guessing before the Panthers, that was, I mean, I guess them or Washington. I mean, that was, I guess, the closest kind of football they had. I don't know.
Yeah, that Pittsburgh, maybe Cincinnati, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, they had Atlanta, but nobody outside of Atlanta. I'm not sure anybody likes Atlanta, likes the team.
No.
Yeah, it's a funny thing.
There's people in Atlanta that I know don't even like the Falcons.
Well, that's where I lived before I came here, and it's funny because I've lived in Tampa. The last three cities are Tampa, Atlanta, and Charlotte. I mean, you'd think
you just got to get to New Orleans.
Exactly. Man. I got to finish the circle. So here's my question. This is going to be kind of fun to talk to you about. I have a little bet going with someone else that is at Bucs Report. He says, well, my side of the bet, I will say this, is that New Orleans will come in either first or second in the NFC South. He says, no way New Orleans is going to come in third or fourth. That he thinks it may be the Falcons or Charlotte. Or the Carolina Panthers. But I'm. What is your real, genuine, honest appraisal? Am I crazy for thinking? It seems to me like the Panthers, the jury's out. I mean, they're getting better, but the jury's out. I mean, is there really that much of an upgrade from Teddy Bridgewater to Sam Darnold?
You know, to me, I think it's kind of a in the short term. I don't think it's much of an upgrade, because you're kind of having to redo everything,
right? In
terms of chemistry, kind of learning the offense,
right?
And getting a whole new bunch of people in here as well, aside from Sam Darnold. So, I mean, I think year one's always going to be tough. That's a transition year. It wouldn't have mattered if they took Justin Fields in the first round or traded for Sam Darnold.
Right.
It would have been the same thing either way. The only way they would have progressed as an offense, I think, is by having Teddy Bridgewater back, even though he's probably not the guy that they want at quarterback. So,
yeah,
I think Carolina, and this is, in my opinion, I've been saying this for months now, even going back to, before the start of this past season, I think Carolina long-term is set up for the best situation, because you look at Tampa Bay, Tom Brady's not going to be there forever.
Right.
Kyle Trask, who knows what he's going to be. New Orleans, we're going to find out really soon.
Right.
And then Atlanta, the same thing with Matt Ryan. So you look at the team in the NFL, they've got their quarterback that they believe in, and they're building that defense up. So, I mean, I think they could be the team long-term that benefits the most. But, I mean, right now I think it's Tampa, New Orleans, and then, kind of flip a coin on Atlanta, Carolina. I think that could kind of go either way.
Yeah, that's the thing with Atlanta. They really are a kind of team this year could go 10-6 or 6-10. I mean, you just never know.
Seems like that every year.
Right. Well, it's usually 14-2 or 2-14. Atlanta seems, I don't know, they lost their entire secondary. I will say this: the Panthers, to me, are on the right. They're on the right path, and they're doing it right. They're not trying to solve everything overnight. I think you have ownership that has demonstrated patience in the past to get them where they need to be. And, I think that's a good situation. I do think it's a good situation for Sam Darnold. Anything is a good situation outside of the Jets. So
yes. I don't think it would have mattered where he ended up. I said the second he was traded, he immediately had an upgrade. And you could tell in his press conference, too. I mean, it was just kind of like a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, my gosh, I got Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and the list goes on. Now they're adding more talent to it. So it's a really good situation for him. For the Panthers, I think it's a TBD.
Now, right, I agree. Now, how do you view the Buccaneers? I mean, as I'm in the middle of it, it's hard for me to get to have a completely objective outsider's point of view. I do the best that I can. How do you view the Buccaneers when you see them coming into this season?
I mean, I think it's a pretty good indicator when you use your first-round draft pick on a guy that's probably not even going to start right away, because they don't have any needs. They brought everybody back. I mean, that defense got better and better and better as the season went along, and that offense was humming. So, I mean, I don't really think I wouldn't say there's a chance to go perfect, because that's just really, really hard, especially with another game. But they could easily, I think, win 13-plus games. Yeah. And I think that they are the clear favorite. I don't think they're going to be tested at all. We'll see how they come off that Super Bowl. I know a lot of teams have that Super Bowl hangover, but Tom Brady, he's been there before multiple times, obviously, so I don't think you have to worry about that. I just think it's the defensive side of the ball. Can they repeat what they did a year ago? If they do, then they're going to be the clear favorite to not only win the division, but the NFC and then the Super Bowl as well. Right.
Now, are the Panthers – I do believe that the Panthers are like 1 year away from competing with the Bucs as is. Like, if Brady were to stick around for 2 more years, if everybody pretty much stuck around for 2 more years, I still see the Panthers as the up-and-coming – they're the one you got to keep an eye on in a couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, I mean, Yetur Gross-Matos, Shaq Thompson. They've got Hassan Reddick now. I mean, they are building pieces on that defense, and you've got to have guys that can shut these offenses down in the NFC South.
Right.
And I don't know that, again, long-term, if there's anybody that's set up better than the Panthers. So I think outside of Tampa Bay, obviously. So
long-term, no, I think long-term you're correct. I mean, the Bucs have a lot of very young talent, and people forget that because they see there are 3 or 4 older guys that are kind of big names. But around that, the core of the defense, outside of JPP and Ndamukong Suh, you got a lot of young guys.
Yeah. And those guys are going to be very, very pricey too.
Yeah.
So that's going to get really interesting when some of those decisions have to be made.
Yep.
But I mean, I think as far as Carolina goes, I said the moment that Matt Rule got hired, I said by year 3 this team will be extremely competitive and pushing for a playoff spot. They could do that this year because I think the talent is better. Last year they signed 14 or something like that undrafted free agents. Really built that thing through undrafted free agents and some late round guys and some free agent signings. But this year it's a little bit different. They're making moves that indicate they're ready to win now. So even though they're really young, I think they're a little bit ahead of schedule. And you look at Rule's past. I mean, year 1 it's really, really bad. Year 2 they're kind of average. And year 3 it's when things start to take off. So I think you got that blueprint down.
Right. Now, does this count as year 1 or year 2?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be fair, I mean, you could say it is year 1 because not only are you starting over with a new quarterback, but I mean, everyone went through COVID in 2020. But I mean, that's not usual. There was only a couple of rookie head coaches last year that had to go through that. Now they get that first full off season with their team. Right. I think it's going to be beneficial to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think so too. And like being here in Charlotte, and it being it's weird. Like I said, that there was almost like no coverage on the news or anything. They were talking about the Hornets during the NFL season. I mean, there was no talk about the Panthers. Like and listen, I've followed the Buccaneers for a very long time. I know what it's like to have a losing team, way worse than what the Panthers are. And it was odd radio silence, but it's just exploded. It feels, my perception is there's just a lot of Panthers fans all of a sudden.
Yeah. And I think, again, I would say a lot of that kind of goes back to when Cam Newton was released.
Yeah.
When Luke Kuechly retired, some of those guys that were a big part of that Super Bowl run, they all departed. Now it's like, okay, who are these guys? I think for the average fan, they're just true. Okay, why did we get rid of everybody? Why did everybody leave?
Right.
Who do we fall in love with now? So I think from an average fan standpoint, I kind of get that they're kind of starting over with a new coach and everything. So I think it just takes time. But I think, like I said, as you see things unfold throughout the first year, yeah, they weren't successful.
Right.
Whatever. But they did have moments. I mean, they went toe-to-toe with the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they went toe-to-toe with the Green Bay Packers. I mean, they were right there. In 8 of those games, 8 one-score games, they just couldn't finish it off.
Honestly, the Panthers, I believe that the Panthers and Raiders showed the Bucs how to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah,
absolutely. I believe that that's a fact. So
you're not lying. I mean, they literally had the chance with the game in their hands at the end of games so many times.
Yeah,
they've got to be able to finish those games off. And like Matt Rule said last year, first you got to learn how to play together. Then you got to learn how to win together. So I think now that they've learned how to play together to an extent, again with Darnold, but I think now they understand what it takes to win those close games in the end, because we've seen, I mean, even if they come up with 3 of those 8 wins or 3 of those 8 games become wins, they're on the outside of a playoff spot.
Right.
So it's so, 50-50.
Yeah. Now, I would be remiss if I let you get off the phone without asking you about this subject matter, because it's the story in the NFL, and I've got to at least bring it up, even though it's just a mess no matter what angle you want to come at it from. The Aaron Rodgers debacle, we'll call it. I don't even know what the right word is for that entire mess. You've got, the Packers look bad. Rodgers looks bad. Adam Schefter, he didn't come out looking great. So is Rodgers going to be back with Green Bay?
Man, I really this is the hardest, situation or debacle, like you said, I think, to really read, because you see one thing one day and then the next day you wake up and you see something completely different that's contradicting to what you saw before. So
then the next day you wake up and you find out, oh no, what it was the day before was right.
Exactly. So it's like, who's telling the truth?
Right.
What's really going on? I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to be there. I think that's very clear, and I think the Packers are this is almost like the Deshaun Watson situation,
right? Is
what it is.
Right.
But there's the actual chance that Rodgers can be moved, where I don't think that's going to be the case with Watson.
Right.
I don't think that the Packers are going to give in to Rodgers unless somebody calls them up and gives them a king's ransom, which may very well happen.
Yeah.
Denver's going to be interested. New Orleans may be interested. I don't know, but I think there's going to be some interest out there. We've heard the Raiders been in the mentions as well. So
right. Well, it's a copycat league. This is how many times have you heard that? And what did the Bucs do? Now somebody else is going to want to go do that. So
exactly. And you can't tick the guy off for too long and not expect him to want to go somewhere else. I mean, just the moves they've made over the last few years have just been head scratching.
Yeah.
And it hasn't changed. So if I had to put my money on it, I do not expect Aaron Rodgers to be in a Packers uniform.
That's kind of how I feel. My thought process was the way this whole thing leaked in the first place was probably the Rodgers camp leaking this to try to get leverage to get the Packers to draft on offense to, say, no, Aaron, it's okay. Look what we did. And they didn't. They called the bluff, and now it's on. Now it's just
exactly.
They pulled the grenade. They pulled the pin. I mean,
and everyone wants to go back to that. There's so many things that happen up to that. He's boiling up, but considering taking a quarterback is just, how they handle things is so different. You saw Tampa Bay, they called Tom Brady, said, hey, we're thinking maybe we draft a quarterback here in the second round. Are you okay with that? So I think
it's the exact opposite. Right. And 10 years in a row, they've only there was only one guy on offense that the Packers have drafted in the first round, Jordan Love.
the position he plays.
Right.
Imagine that.
So, what a mess. Skylar, I do not want to wear out my welcome with you because I want to have you back and have you back often. So I want to thank you for
Absolutely.
coming by. I very much I enjoyed this. You're awesome. Appreciate you you being here. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Callahan _, and then you can follow the Panther site that we have at SI_Panthers.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Skylar.
No problem. My pleasure.
Yep, you have a great one. All right, we had Skylar Callahan from Sports Illustrated. I would have kept him on for a lot longer, but I thought I ought to be nice and let him go ahead and escape. But yeah, I mean, what a great guy. And Johnny, thank you for putting down where to follow him on Twitter and such in the chat. So thank you very much for doing that. Now, what I'm going to do is invite you guys to come back. It's once again, guys, it's your turn. All right. So what you can do is use the link that I just put in chat. If you're brave enough to come on video, use that link. Would love to have you come on and let's talk. I've got so much stuff I haven't even touched on yet. But you have that. You also can reach me on the phone if you'd prefer to call. If you're a chicken and want to call on the phone, and that is fine, you can call me at that number right there, 678-825-5263, 678-825-5263, 678 talk to me. And we've got lots of stuff to discuss and go over. So I want to go over a couple of things here. I'm going to talk about, like we said, who is going to be the Bucs opener? New Orleans, Buffalo, Chicago, the Cowboys. Who's it going to be? Traditionally, the Super Bowl winning team hosts the first Thursday night game. Now, let me tell you what's cool about this. And Johnny and I have talked a great deal about how Thursday night games are brutal. They are terrible on a team. You're coming off of a Sunday game. You've got you only basically get one walkthrough before the game on Thursday night. Here's what's different. It's not going to be that way for the Bucs. The Bucs are going to be able to be planning and preparing for that game in advance because it's the first game of the year. And then going into the second game of the year, they've got then another about 10 days until their second game. So the Bucs are their one Thursday night game is going to be the first game. That's an advantage, not a small one. If you don't believe me, remember what happened last year. It was ugly. What happened to the Bucs on Thursday night? So you're not going to have to deal with that this year. So the Bucs have that advantage. Now it's just a matter of who are they going to play. Now the other thing is, I want to talk about CBS Sports. Did an article. They looked back at the 2018 draft and they gave teams scores on the 2018 draft. You know how we always get the draft rankings, did you get an A? Did you get a B? What did you get? And they do that after the draft every year, as if we know how good Joe Tryon's going to be or Kyle Trask or whatever. What they did is go back several years and then say, okay, now that we have a certain amount of work, a certain body of work, let's grade all of the teams from the 2018 draft. CBS Sports gave two teams a perfect score, the Colts and the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers in the 2018 draft got 4 starters and Ronald Jones. I'm not even counting him as a starter. Let me say that again. The Bucs landed 4 starters in 2018 and Ronald Jones, who you can, maybe he's a starter, maybe he's not. Depends on, I don't know. That's one heck of a draft. That's Jason Light when they finally let Jason Light be Jason Light, when they finally gave him the reins and let him go and do what he wanted to do. That's when you started to see everything change. Prior to that, Jason Light's hands were somewhat tied in the draft because of who the coaches were and the agreements with the coaches, etc. I want to talk about this. Bruce Arians was on a show called the National Football Show. And Bruce Arians talked about the J word. He talked about when they released Jameis and the decision to release Jameis. And Arians came out and talked about it. It's the first I've ever heard him really talk about it. And he got in depth on this, on releasing Jameis. And he talked about how difficult it was, how it was not an easy decision. It was very, very hard because the players in the locker room loved him and still to this day love him. But that Tom Brady, and he mentioned, again, you have to look behind door number 2, and Tom Brady was the missing ingredient that this team needed to win a Super Bowl. Now, I say by extrapolation, he's saying Jameis Winston was not going to get them a Super Bowl. But he talked about how difficult it was, and it was not an easy decision, that Jameis is incredibly talented, and that he was torn. Well, until it was Brady, and then, of course, you're not torn. I mean, who would be? But I thought that was a very interesting article, very interesting insight that he finally opened up and talked a little bit about what went through his mind during that time, during that decision-making process. And I want to hear from you guys in the chat there. I want you guys to start talking to me about that if you read the article. It's a very interesting article, and how giving Jameis his due, it was not an easy decision. It wasn't just, let's just cut him. We hate him. He sucks. And the fact that Arians said that Jameis doesn't suck, that Jameis is a very good quarterback, and they probably were going to keep him. They were not going to Bridgewater, like the rumors. That they were probably going to keep him if they weren't going to get Brady, to me, says volumes. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys have heard, though, about Tom Brady, and one of the things that Tom Brady did immediately after the draft. Well, I say immediately, the next day, one day later, one day after the draft, Tom Brady called Jason Light and said to Jason Light, hey, I would very much like all of the rookies' information. He wanted all the rookies' information. And I thought that was interesting, that Brady is already on these guys, trying to work them, get them in the right mindset, set the culture, set the tone. Brady's already working with these guys immediately. One day, wanted their contact info because Tom Brady is on it. And I think that's pretty awesome. That, again, that's a leader. He's not acting like a leader. He's just leading. And that's what's exciting about that. I want to bring our next special guest in here. Very happy to have him. James, Mr. Bucs Nation. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Rick. How are you?
Doing great. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. Greatly appreciated.
You got it. It's definitely my pleasure. And I've got a question for you.
Sure.
I have to open this up because I think it's I've got something at stake here. Got a friendly bet going with Harry the Greek from the over under with Harry the Greek about the New Orleans Saints. I want to talk to you about this.
Sure.
Okay. My bet is that the Saints will come in. I said if they come in first or second in the division, I win. If they come in third or fourth, he wins.
Okay.
What are your thoughts? What's going to happen with the Saints this year?
That's a tough call. Obviously, whenever you lose Drew Brees, that's going to affect a lot of things. You would assume the Bucs are right now the favorites to be, number one. So it's really just a question of, do you believe the Saints can be number two?
Right.
And, there's a lot of stiff competition. The Falcons got a little bit better in the offseason with Kyle Pitts, not depending if
Did they though? Because their entire secondary left.
That is true. And, depending on if they trade Julio Jones or not, that could change a lot of things as well.
Right.
So, we'll have to keep an eye on them. But, I would say a big one is going to be the Panthers, and how Sam Darnold does. He's got a lot of good pieces around him now, both with offensive linemen and wide receivers. Defense got a little bit better now as well. So really, I would say the Saints not only competition, but but their major competition would probably be the Panthers there, and then maybe a little bit for the Falcons. Could surprise some people with, how potent that offense could potentially be. And then also you got to factor in Jameis Winston and how he's going to do at quarterback in a Sean Payton system.
Well, if he's even the quarterback, I mean, my contention is look at what the Saints have done over the last 2 years without Drew Brees. Right. I believe that they're 11-1 without Drew Brees.
Right.
In the last 2 years.
I mean, I think it would be a safe bet. I think that's one that you could win. I don't think it's going to be a situation where the Saints either get first or fourth. I mean, I think they will get either second or third, one of those two. Because right now they're not the best team in the NFC South, but they're not the worst team either.
I don't think it's a given that the Bucs win the division. Everybody's just writing it off. I've said this. I was very clear earlier. It sounds like I'm contradicting myself because I said if the Bucs were to play up to their potential every week.
Right.
If they played up to their potential every week, they would. I don't think anybody can beat them. Now, having said that, I don't think they're going to play up to their potential every week.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I definitely I see what you're saying. I would still say that they're the favorites. I mean, I think we would both agree on that they're at least the favorites.
Right.
And yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to come down to the Panthers and Saints there for that second spot. And honestly, yeah, I mean, I would probably agree with you there and say the Saints might finish second there, but we'll have to wait and see.
Right. That's what I think is going to happen because you got to at least give Sam Darnold. Why would you automatically believe in Sam Darnold at this point? I mean, maybe not. I mean, is he? If you compare him to Teddy Bridgewater, is it that much of an upgrade?
That's a good question, and we don't know. We don't know because Sam Darnold, obviously, former number 3 overall pick. There's a reason he went number 3 overall back in, I believe, the 2018 draft. There was even talks about him going number 1. He was honestly the expected guy until the Browns took Baker Mayfield.
Right.
So let's see if Matt Rule, head coach of the Panthers, can tap into that Sam Darnold potential. We'll see. He could be an upgrade over Teddy Bridgewater, but right now what we've seen from Sam Darnold throughout his first couple of years in the NFL, it looks like they're pretty similar in terms of overall stat lines and things like that. And I don't mind, they took J.C. Horn, cornerback, with their 8th overall pick, I believe, and it was really interesting because I actually talked to a Carolina Panthers YouTuber at the time, right after the pick was made. And I said, how do you feel about this? And he said, man, I really wanted Justin Fields. I mean, he really wanted Justin Fields. I mean, if they had Justin Fields, I would say Carolina's probably a favorite for at least number 2. I mean, because
I'm not a big Justin Fields guy. I may be the only one. Maybe I'm the only guy who I may be the only guy just is not that excited about Justin Fields. I mean, apparently the Bears are, but
yeah,
I did not. I watched the guy's pro day. I watched a couple of different pro days, several different pro days, and maybe it's just that he had a bad day.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely possible. When I'm a big Justin Fields guy. It would have been very interesting to see him in like a Matt Rule offense with Christian McCaffrey, Rodney Anderson, or Robbie Anderson, and DJ Moore, and then some of the other guys that they added on that offense there. I mean, that could be electric, But that didn't happen. They got a couple of defenders. The Panthers boosted up their defense. I think that you might win that bet. I could see the Saints getting second place in the NFC South.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
we shall see.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with Jameis versus Taysom Hill, though.
Yeah. That's I think they're going to run a 2-headed monster during the year. I think you're going to see them both get a lot of work. So
yeah, I don't think Taysom Hill's role is probably going to change. I mean, I think he's more valuable to the Saints as moving around than the full-time quarterback.
I don't know. They put him in to replace Breeze when he got hurt this year. So
that's true, and he did do well in that regard. But
he went 5-1, so or 4-1.
I think 4-1. Yeah.
Now, question: the Chiefs are slightly favored in the Super Bowl. What the heck is that all about? I don't understand that.
I don't understand either. It's funny, man. Everybody, as soon as the Chiefs traded for, was it Orlando Brown?
Yeah.
Everybody got back on the bandwagon. They released Schwartz and they released Fisher, and everybody was like, "Oh man, what are they going to do?" And then they traded for Orlando Brown. And everybody got back on there, and they're like, "Oh, they're the best." It's like, but they didn't win the Super Bowl last year. The Bucs did.
But I mean, even if they get better, how much better do they have to get to beat what is the same Buccaneers team with now 1 year under their belt together?
Yeah, it's the same exact team, literally the same. Well, but minus some changes at role player type positions. So
only even like one of those.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just. I forgot. I mean, Anthony Auclair's gone. Okay, great. So, oh no, the Bucs lost their fourth tight end. I mean, I don't know.
It's going to be interesting. I'm a little surprised the Bucs aren't the favorites there. I don't know a ton about sports gambling, to be honest, and sports betting and whatnot.
I'm not. The same with me.
Maybe the bookies are just assuming that the Chiefs will be able to play more, what you said earlier, play more at their peak consistently.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're betting on. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting. The over-under on Wednesday night here on Bucs Report, there's a show called The Over-Under with Harry the Greek. And it's going to be a great show this week because not only, first of all, the schedule's coming out when that show is on. So that's going to be like breaking news with the schedule. But also in addition to that, this is something I'm probably going to call in and talk to him about because I just don't understand it.
What time does the schedule come out tomorrow?
It's on Wednesday, I believe.
Oh, sorry. What time does the schedule come out on Wednesday?
I'm not sure. 8 or 9, I think is
8 or 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Dang it! I'm going to be at work that day. Oh well. So I will miss out on the celebrations, but
yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Who do you want to see the Bucs open up with? It's at home.
I'm torn on it. I've seen a lot of options. The Bills, I think, were a popular one, right?
All right.
I believe the Bills were a popular one, and that'd be fun. I mean, I like the Bills. I think that they're a fun team. I wouldn't mind seeing Josh Allen versus Tom Brady.
Yep.
In a Bucs uniform. Man, but I also saw somebody say, "Come on, They did it last year, obviously the Bucs played the Saints week 1 last year.
That's who I want to see.
But now there's different circumstances, and it'd be fun, just the storylines going into it would be fun. Seeing the post Drew Brees era for the Saints versus the defending Super Bowl champions, let alone it being the former Tampa Bay Buccaneers, prospective franchise
quarterback. That's why
quarterback.
I want to see it. That's why I want to see it. Because I also think once the Saints, they're going to, this is not everybody's acting like the Saints are this entirely different team. The bulk of the players are back, guys. They've lost a little bit, but when you're 13-3 or whatever they were, and you lose a little bit, okay, now you're 11 and you're still a very good team.
Yeah.
So everybody who just writes them off, I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see, how they look now. Obviously the most important change happened there at that quarterback position,
right?
So I'm going to be very curious to see how that goes. We haven't seen Jameis Winston in a full game capacity versus the Bucs yet.
Right.
Which, that alone would be interesting, regardless of what team he'd be on. And I've seen some people be critical of that and say, "Oh, come on, you got to let it go." It's like, well, no, it's fun storylines,
right? Anybody who says stop talking about Jameis, he's no longer there. Name another quarterback in the NFC South we're not allowed to talk about. So to me, it's just silly that people say don't talk about him. I'm gonna, because he's the Saints quarterback most likely. He used to be on the Buccaneers, so it's kind of worth talking about. So I don't know.
If the Bucs are playing the guy, bring it up.
Right.
Come on.
Minor detail. But, okay, so I want to bring this up because I found it funny. Mm-hmm. Bleacher Report did a survey.
Okay.
Of Bucs fans. Now, this to me is funny.
Were you in the survey, Rick?
I was not in the survey.
I wasn't in the survey either.
But they did a survey of Bucs fans asking them, do you feel the team is headed in the right direction? What the heck kind of question is that? Can you please explain to me what was Bleacher Report thinking with their recent survey that Bucs fans feel the team is headed in the right direction?
That's real.
That's a headline.
That's a real headline that actually happened.
Yes.
What in the world? Well, did the people, I imagine the people that they surveyed gave like a 100% yes.
Yeah. But how is this a question? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. Who said otherwise? Who,
man,
in the right direction. You just won the Super Bowl. Everybody's back. What did you want them to do?
Yeah, I mean, man, they always find a way. They always find a way to try and get some type of negative thing in there. Like what else? They just won the Super Bowl in their hometown and brought back all 22 starters.
It's bizarre.
What else did you want them to do different?
I agree. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. Bucs fans feel team headed in right direction. That's the actual headline. So
I mean, did people just trash it on social media and just say what the heck's wrong with Bleacher Report?
I didn't get into it that far. I read the article and then dropped it. But
that is oh my gosh. I mean, come on now, Bleacher Report. You can't even let us have a good year without having to question us. I mean, come on.
I just don't even understand the question. I mean,
yeah, okay. I have not seen that for any other teams. Like when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, I didn't see an article that said,
are you headed in the right direction? It makes no sense to even ask the question. You just won the Super Bowl. Yes, you're in the right direction. It's been proven that's been decided. Now nobody left. Nobody left.
Yeah.
So
it's is your Bucs fans, is your team heading in the right direction? They're defending Super. What else could they do to raise that level?
Right. That's what I thought was so bizarre about this Bleacher Report article. I was
if every single man on the 53-man roster just somehow automatically became a Hall of Famer tomorrow, is that enough? I don't understand.
Oh man. So Gronk doing his Gronk good deed kinds of things. This is a guy who, by the way, has never spent a dime of his football money. I don't know if you guys realize that. Gronk donated $1.2 million to help complete a Boston playground. These are good guys on and off the field. It's kind of fun,
That's got to be a nice playground for $1.2 million.
That's funny because I thought the same darn thing. I thought playground for $1.2 million. I mean, when I grew up, and this is way before your time, man, James. This is way before your time. The slides, when you went down a slide at on a playground, it was made.
We just, when I was growing up, they just started getting rid of them.
Yeah.
So I still experienced metal slides for a couple of years.
I'm sorry.
And it was exactly what you said. I mean, they will fry you. I mean, you can literally fry eggs. I mean, cook up some bacon.
Yeah. So I said
sizzle a steak on there, man.
Absolutely. I mean, and that was a hey everybody, let's see how much skin can make it to the bottom. I mean, it was
right.
It was
right. So that's interesting. 1.2 million. I don't know what you spend for a playground. I mean, you get a slide, you get some monkey bars or something. I don't know.
That's one heck of a monkey bars. Okay, right. Levante David just got his criminal justice degree at Nebraska. How about that?
I saw that, and congratulations to Levante David, whatever, that's very interesting, specifically criminal justice, because usually whenever you think of football players getting their degrees, it's in the most general stuff, and which is fine, they're not, they're going to school, a degree's nice, but, a lot of those guys are going to try and play in the NFL. Right. But for Levante specifically, it was criminal justice, right?
Right.
I wonder what that means he's going to do post NFL career.
That's interesting.
You know, I mean, that's going to be very interesting to see. It sounds like he's going to be really involved in terms of like community stuff with
Sheriff Levante.
You never know. You never know, man. I mean, and I imagine that's not an easy degree to get. You know, I imagine you have to study a lot of law and things like that. So, I mean, hey, congratulations to him from a good school as well over in Nebraska. That's exciting, you know, and I think that's something that like people don't think about too. I mean, Levante David hasn't been in college since what, 2011, 2012. It's been a while, you know, and it's, you know, obviously, I mean, props to him for sticking with it and taking the time when he needed to be able to sit down and focus and get that degree. Because, I mean, a lot of the guys, you know, whenever they get out of, not a lot, some guys, whenever they get out of college, they just think, okay, well, I don't need to keep on trying to get my degree now. Because I'm in the NFL. What does it matter? You know, but Levante is, he's got that degree now. So now it seems like he's definitely got some ideas for post NFL, and that's cool. Yeah.
Now I got to bring this up because I got to bring this up. It's the biggest story in the NFL, and it just needs to be brought up. Like it or not. Look, there is so much to just blah, blah, blah about Aaron Rodgers and that whole mess. You can come at it from the media being wrong. You can come at it from Aaron Rodgers being wrong. You can come at it from Green Bay being wrong. There are so many ways, so many things you can talk about. I mean, you literally can. This is the gift that keeps on giving, because every day you wake up and you find out that what you thought the day before wasn't true. You know, and then you find some different angle, blah, blah, blah. What else is there? I mean, what is he coming back? Is he not coming back?
I'll be honest, when you were just starting to talk here, I thought you were going to talk about the news of Tim Tebow signing with the Jaguars.
Oh, that's coming next.
And
that's next.
We will talk about that in a moment. But, you know, this is a tough one, because there's so many just threads. And, you know, I'm like you, Rick. You know, there's times where I sit there and I'm like, okay, this is too much information. I don't know what to believe anymore. I'm dropping thinking about this whole thing, because now I'm just getting frustrated, you know. And it just gets annoying, you know, because they just keep on talking about it, which I get it for certain things. But it's getting to the point now where it's just like, I don't know. You know, because you have 30 different people saying 30 different things. You know, Aaron Rodgers wants the GM fired. Oh, he didn't like this undrafted wide receiver getting released 3 years ago, and that's what started the problems. And, you know, and all these other wild things. You have former players saying that it's going to work out. You have former players saying it's not going to work out. All these people are saying, well, I talk to Aaron Rodgers on a daily basis. Who knows, man? Who knows? You know
what it makes me think of is if you make a giant fruit smoothie and then try to separate the ingredients afterwards.
It's impossible.
It's
impossible.
I mean,
you know, so I'll say, I think he will be back for one more year.
Okay.
I do. Just because I thought if there was ever going to be a chance for him to get traded, it was going to be night one of the draft. I thought that some team in the top 10 would, you know, if they gave one of their top 10 pick and put together this incredible package for a first rounder this year and first rounders next year, then, you know, Aaron Rodgers will get traded. But after night one, I thought, you know, Packers aren't going to be able to get the value that they want here, you know, and you know, do they want to move on with Jordan Love? I mean, it seems like eventually, you know, unless they just completely waste that draft pick, you know, and just have to eventually.
The Packers are going to end up just losing him and getting nothing. I mean, imagine if New England had traded Brady.
Yeah.
Instead, they just lost him.
Yeah, and I don't know when Rodgers' contract runs out. I believe it runs out in the next year or two.
I think there's a couple years left.
Yeah, so I don't see him getting traded right now. I mean, again, I could be dead wrong. This is just my assumption on this.
Well, this is Johnny. If you see what the professor Johnny Dean said, he said Rodgers will be a Buccaneer in 2 years. I think it's way too. I understand where he's coming from, but I think it's premature to say that.
Yeah, you know, I would think that Rodgers would probably get traded after next season. You know, I think that they can maybe I think that they'll maybe be able to convince him to say, hey, Aaron, just give it one more year, man, and then we'll try and figure it out, and we'll see what happens there, and then they'll trade him to some team in the AFC.
Yeah, I think he may hold out and force a trade. I think
that is certainly possible.
Yeah.
That is certainly possible. But the thing is that, I mean, they want to move on with Jordan Love anyway. So if Rodgers,
do they? Because I've heard he's in. I don't know how accurate this is. I've heard, you know how reliable that is. Adam Schefter. No, I've heard that Jordan Love is not looking so good in practice. That they're not very happy with Jordan Love.
Oh, okay, huh? Well, I don't know. Maybe he could force a trade or force their hand there. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I think the big thing that, if I had to guess, I would say that Aaron Rodgers just wants some financial security, wants some guaranteed money in his deal, and the Packers just aren't giving him that. I think it even goes a step further than, saying, hey, give me some wide receiver help. I mean, a lot of players want that guaranteed money for insurance, for just, hey, let me get my guaranteed money and let me have my financial stability here. And Packers aren't. That would be the deciding factor, I think, for me.
Right. Well, it's funny. Johnny says that was a joke, Rick, about Rodgers being on the Buccaneers, but that seems to be the narrative that's out there. Everybody talking about. And then Stephen Glasgow says, I think the Patriots got a compensatory third rounder for Tom Brady. Think about this. If Tom Brady, the greatest NFL football player of all time, only nets you a third rounder compensatory pick, what gets you a second rounder?
Yeah. Do they give compensatory second round picks?
I was thinking it was anything after the first round. I was thinking, but I may be wrong. It may be the third is the highest.
Third might be the cap there. Okay. I mean, it's interesting, man. I mean, if they let Rodgers go and he goes to, I don't know, Denver, because I know that's a team that's rumored to trade for him. Well, we got a third round compensatory pick. Yeah, but you let Aaron Rodgers go after a couple of years. It'll be interesting.
Well, you got to really screw up to have somebody that good and have them want to leave, and then it gets so bad that you can't course correct. What I don't understand about the Packers is the doubling down and lack of course correction, lack of smoothing things over. Why didn't you draft someone to make Rodgers happy? Why didn't you? I mean, I just don't get it.
Their GM, it's weird, man. It's weird. It seems like ever since that general manager came in, it's just like, I'm going to get my guy. I'm going to do things my way. Yeah. And that's been a thing where it's like, oh, new GM, nobody's safe, but it's Aaron Rodgers, Right. If there's one person on that team who would be safe, it would be Aaron Rodgers. But I guess
how do you just not draft in the first round, draft offense in the first round ever?
Yeah.
I mean, the only guy they've drafted in the first round that's on offense in the last 10 years is Jordan Love.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, this could get ugly for a lot of reasons. Look, I mean, I could be dead wrong. Rodgers could get traded tomorrow, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
I'm just kind of guessing here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how's the head coach going to think? If Guntz, the general manager, ends up trading Aaron Rodgers, that could make your head coach not want to trust you anymore. Well, and then it all just falls apart at that point.
The whole thing's a mess right now.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. I mean, it's a big old mess. I mean, it has a lot of potential to get a lot worse here. If Rodgers is actually traded, the coach gets upset. Mike LaFleur, he gets mad at that. Hey, why'd you trade freaking Aaron Rodgers? He's actually a smart football guy.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. If you're the head coach, you've got to just be sitting there like, really? Come on. I mean, there's too many leaders there. They've got too many heads of things there, and I just think it's a mess.
Yeah,
I think Green Bay is a mess.
Absolutely. They have a lot of sorting to do.
And Johnny asked the right question. How do you only draft defense in the first round 9 out of the last 10 years and still have a poor defense?
Yeah.
That's the question, Johnny.
That is something.
The $1 million question.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it must revolve around just making bad picks or the guys that they're drafting. Taking Jordan Love. Probably Jordan Love didn't help out for a lot of reasons.
Right.
So, it's certainly interesting, man.
Yeah. I don't know. it is interesting. The whole thing is interesting. So I have no idea. I think Christopher Cole, who just brought this up, he just said Jordan Love could be a bad situation waiting to happen. He is a bad situation that's happening. It's already happening. And Mike DeRoche has the right explanation, just plain bad management.
Yeah, the moment they took Jordan Love, it was just, well, okay.
Yeah,
you know,
the head of player personnel, the head coach, and the GM, none of those have any idea who gets final say in Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean,
that's, gosh, how have things gone wrong?
It seems like it's almost like a power grab from the GM, trying to say like, hey, I don't care what the head coach says. I don't care what the franchise quarterback says. This is my team, and I'm going to do what I want.
But the head coach and the head of player personnel and the GM, none of them, they've asked them who has final say, and all of them basically say, I don't know who's got final say.
Oh, that's like them. They've actually said that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that they have no idea who has final say. And how does that team continue to function like that? It's just it's an amazing mess. It really is an amazing.
If anything, that's just a testament more to the ability of just Aaron Rodgers and the guys who are there just to deal with
overcome that. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, my goodness,
James, I want to thank you for coming by, brother.
Hey, absolutely.
Tell everybody
man.
where to find you. Tell everybody where they can see you, find you, get all your social, media info and all that.
Absolutely. So, I'm on YouTube at Mr. Bucs Nation. I've been doing a lot of cool content. I actually just did a couple of interviews recently. One with Buccaneers offensive tackle Calvin Ashley, who just signed as an undrafted free agent, and then one with Buccaneers wide receiver TJ Simmons, who also just signed as an undrafted free agent. So pretty exciting times. I'll have some more videos coming out here talking about the schedule release on Wednesday. I thought today was Tuesday, so it's a couple of days away. But I'll be talking about that. I might just go ahead and talk about the Tim Tebow signing on the channel tonight, which will be fun. And plenty more content coming out here soon.
Awesome. I'm about to get into that. I just don't want to keep you any longer, and then I'll make sure. See, if I do this, if I cut you guys shorter, you're more willing to come back, and I want to be sure you do that. So thanks a lot, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rick. I'll talk to you soon, okay, man?
Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Great interview with James from Mr. Bucs Nation. So that's pretty exciting. I do want to get into Tim Tebow. I will do that the moment we come back. I'm going to play a 30-second commercial or so for my Saturday night show, What's Cooking in the South, and I'll be right back, and we'll get into Tim Tebow, and it'll be your turn. All right, let's talk Tim Tebow. That gets everybody going. It's your turn. All right, let's add to the stream the professor himself,
How's it going,
Mr.
man?
Johnny Dean. Hey, brother, how are you?
You said Tim Tebow.
Whoops, sorry about that. I said Tim Tebow. You said you had to come on. Look at how small your head looks. I gotta do this because your head looks so small. There we go. All right. So talk to me about Tim Tebow is signing for a year, I guess, to try to be tight end for Jacksonville. What's going to happen there?
He's 33 years old. He finally took the position that everybody in the NFL wanted him to be in the first place, right?
Right.
And so, that's because of Urban Meyers. But how effective is he going to be when he hasn't played that position in the NFL? We've seen what he can do with his legs, and he's still in good shape. I don't know what kind of football shape he'll be in. But
let me ask you something.
we're going to see.
Are you buying the fact that he's really genuinely only going to play tight end? I mean, I think the guy's going to be that they're going to use him in at quarterback like they do Taysom Hill, bring him in to do some different things.
Well, absolutely. Urban Meyer's likes some little tricks up his sleeves, man.
Right. I don't think he's signed. I mean, everybody says he's coming in as a quote unquote tight end. Yeah, he may play some on tight end.
As such, they will use him as such.
I don't think Tim Tebow is the guy you want blocking, protecting your quarterback, your new shiny new quarterback. Okay, you're a guy who's never played the position ever in his life, and then you're going to put him there to have to be protecting your quarterback. I just don't see.
You see, that's the old tight end position, which aggravates me. I hate it. A tight end these days is just an extra wide receiver.
No, we've talked a lot about how much we've talked a lot about this year how important the tight ends were on Tampa with blocking.
For Tampa, but the top-rated tight ends out there right now are less than great blockers outside of Kelsey and a few others.
Agreed, but you've got a brand shiny new quarterback that you're going to want to protect. And if you don't believe me, ask Cincinnati. Right. How that works. So, yeah, I don't know.
And Pitts, I think. Pitts is a great extra wide receiver, but I haven't seen a whole lot of blocking in his tapes, man.
Yeah, I don't have enough of an opinion on him. I've heard nothing but good things about every aspect of his game. So I think they're just all the teams are just looking for a little secret weapon or a little special gimmick they can use to bolster their offense when in fact they should actually be worried about their defense. Well, it's weird to me that I mean I just picture him getting in there and I mean Trevor Lawrence is just going to get killed because this guy he's never played the position before ever. You
know my opinion on Trevor Lawrence anyway, so.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think Tebow will sell tickets. I think you're going to see more of him at quarterback than you'll see of him at tight end.
I think you might see him as like an on-field coach with Trevor Lawrence. That might be possible.
Yeah. I think you'll see him come in and on occasion line up at tight end, but you're going to see him come in and run some gadget plays and different things like that. And I think, you don't
think Tebow's there mostly as a bridge for Urban Meyer's technique in that system?
I think but I think he's going to be playing at quarterback. At quarterback.
Things. I agree with you on that. I said, but
I don't think he's coming in primarily as tight end. I think
his main purpose there is to help the other people like Trevor Lawrence understand Urban Meyer's schematics.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see is them say he's coming in at tight end, so everybody sort of leaves the quarterback controversy out of it, and we're not hearing that much about it. But I don't think they have any intention on really using it.
I just think it's hilarious that this is the position everybody in the NFL wanted him to play.
Yeah.
Josh, whatever his name is, up in New England, tried to get him to play that way too, and he refused and refused and refused. I'm a quarterback, remember?
Yep.
He made that statement in the press millions of times.
Yep.
I'm a quarterback.
Yep.
And now Urban Meyer comes in and sure, coach, I'll play tight end for you.
Yeah. Yeah, because though I think the reason is I think he knows he's not coming in at tight end. I just honestly believe that. I think they're going to say he's a tight end. I think he may line up once or twice at tight end here or there.
We'll see the first two games. I'm dying for it. I mean, it's going to bolster. It's going to bolster ratings for Jaguars. It's going to put some butts in the seats.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, I think that has a great deal to do with why he's there.
Right.
I just think it's going to be interesting. So, yeah, I mean, you got Tebow coming. You've got the Aaron Rodgers stuff. The NFL has just been odd. And you heard the Bleacher Report survey. Did you hear me talking just a minute ago to Mr. Bucs Nation?
Do you think the Bucs are in the right direction?
Yes. Yes.
No, we got to get that first pick of the draft, man. We got to have that. That's what we need.
Yeah, they did a terrible job lining themselves up in the draft this year. They put themselves at 32nd. I mean, that's
horrible.
Oh man, it was just odd. When I read the headline, I read it, and then I read it again, and then I read it again because I was like, "Am I really? Is this? Am I seeing this correctly?" So I don't know. Hold on. I have a call coming in. Hold on real quick here. Hello? Hello?
Hi, this is Steve. I'm sorry I missed your call.
Okay. Steve tried to call in this time. I don't know what happened there, but it said I was answering the phone, and then I got his
That
voicemail.
sounded like a very super straight guy.
Yeah. Wrong show. But yeah, he's he'll hopefully he'll call back, but we'll
What
see.
do you expect to see from the Jaguars? We've talked about the NFC South with the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons, not Atlanta Falcons or whatever they're called.
Yep. Well, here we go again. Hey, how's it going, Steven?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
What's up, Mr. JD? How you doing, brother?
How's it going, Steven?
Now, the reason I normally only do like one at a time on this show, but I'm going to bring you in with Johnny because Johnny is a show host as well. And let me go ahead and let's break this out there. Let's get this out there, Johnny. Tell them when your show is.
Friday night at 11, right after your show.
Awesome. Very good. Very good. Maybe earlier. We'll see.
By the way, for those of you who didn't catch it last week when he was on with Tampa Bay Ray, it was a fantastic show. So I'm looking forward to it very much.
Yep. Now, who is where it's raining? Is that you, Steven?
I am.
It sounds you. I hear the rain. I'm like, holy cow, man. Yeah.
My apologies.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's supposed to be raining here at any moment, so we'll see.
No, it's raining hard here. It's ridiculous. But,
you can hear it.
You guys talk about Tebow, and I'm with you. I don't see it necessarily him playing tight end, considering now, but the idea that he's never played it doesn't mean he can't. I mean, Julian Edelman was a quarterback in college, and he played wide receiver pretty well. So I don't look at it from that perspective. And in regards to Aaron Rodgers, I am in total agreement with Johnny from the aspect. I don't look at it like you were talking about, Rick, with how you never draft offensive players in the first round.
Right.
I'm much more in alignment with how do you have bad defenses when you draft
well that
first round all the time.
Right. But then again, Jason Light was drafting defensive backs year after year after year after year, and the Bucs were not getting better because they kept changing head coaches. But I don't know what Green Bay's excuse is.
They were doing the same thing through Favre era too. It was the same thing with Favre, man.
Yeah,
they didn't
understand it.
Defense, right? Offense.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I guess I don't have.
And you got and basically Aaron Rodgers is reliving the Favre years, except for the whole but even the whole I might retire, I might not. He's really reliving the whole thing because you got to remember the year Aaron Rodgers got drafted. Aaron Favre, not Aaron. Brett Favre. Then they win. They won the division, and I think they went like 13-3 that year.
Yeah,
they had a great year.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. It's just bizarre. That whole thing is just bizarre. It's something that I don't even know how you. I don't even know how to follow up on it. I'm not even sure what you say about that whole mess because. I mean, there's three parties involved: Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers, and Adam Schefter, and every single one of them looks bad. I mean, nobody came out of this. Nobody came out of this unscathed, and no matter what happens, somebody's going to look like the fall guy or the bad guy. It's just, I mean, it's a mess, and I don't even know.
You got to look, man. There's an entire system of the same thing happening over and over again. When Brett Favre was there, he'd get his players, and they'd get rid of them as soon as he got comfortable with them. And they did this. It would continue. It's continued with Aaron Rodgers and stuff.
What do you guys think about Jameis? About Arians coming out and talking about cutting Jameis and or not re-signing Jameis? What do you guys think about that? Arians came out on something called the National Football Show and talked about how it was so difficult to move on from Jameis. That was very, very tough. The players love him so much. Blah blah blah. I mean, is that?
I think I'm not trying to cut you up, Johnny, but my mindset is I think Jameis is a nice guy. I can see that. Guys in the locker room like him. And if that's all required to play football, that'd be great. But I think the moment Arians realized he could possibly get Tom Brady he went, you got to go, James.
Yep.
You got to go.
Yeah.
Well, I can see a couple of guys in the locker room not liking him.
Well, apparently, I don't know. They talked about how he was so well loved, and I believe he was loved, but I don't believe he was well respected, and I think that's the
there
difference.
You go. That's the key.
Bingo.
Yep. I think that's the difference. Is I think they all loved him and said, "What a nice guy, what a great guy. Gosh, we really like him." He's not that great of a quarterback, or he's probably not going to lead us where we need to go, and yeah, that's why. I mean, when Brady comes in, who's going to say anything? I mean, that's the one thing. It's very hard to say much of anything about that. And the one thing that I think makes makes Aaron Rodgers so interesting, tying all of this together, is we all hear it's a copycat league. It's a copycat league. It's a copycat league. It's really almost impossible to copy what the Buccaneers did. But you maybe can take a swing at it if you bring in Aaron Rodgers. So,
well,
I don't want Aaron Rodgers in our
division for this reason, and because I think I understand it's a copycat league, and people think, well, if we do what they did in Tampa Bay, then we'll get the same result. But you got to look at the personalities of the quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers is not Tom Brady.
I agree with you.
I don't care how badly he thinks he wants to be.
It's obvious because they don't win.
Especially when it comes to leadership. The people in the locker room who don't like Aaron.
Yeah,
but people in the locker room, he's too aloof. He's not really. He's a blame deflector. He points the fingers. That's who he is.
Yeah, but put him on New Orleans. Put him on New Orleans or Atlanta, and tell me you guys aren't uncomfortable.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. If he was in New Orleans, it'd be ridiculous. But to be honest, I still think we could beat them.
Oh, I do too. But it would be a lot more difficult, and it would be very uncomfortable. I mean, think about you put him in Atlanta with Julio Jones and Ridley. I don't know. I mean,
that's a good point.
And Pitts.
But I still think we could beat them too.
And Pitts.
Aaron Rodgers is not a team guy. He is not. You have to be a team guy.
I'll tell you what Aaron Rodgers does bring. He brings 5 games to a team.
Yeah.
Because we've seen it. We've seen it already. When he's not with Green Bay, they don't win.
Right. And that's the difference. And then look at Breeze. And this is why I am so steadfast saying the Saints, you guys are counting them out too early. Not you guys that are on with me right now. I'm saying in general, don't count them out yet. Don't do it. Okay?
They do it every year, Rick. Every year. For the last 3 years, they've counted them out. Oh, the Saints are going to be in the bottom of the division this year. The Saints are going to be every single year. It starts out the same way.
Yeah. Yep.
I have never thought that, by the way. I've never thought the Saints were going to be at the bottom of the division. Ever.
Oh, man, they were trash last year, man.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this thing up. I want to thank you guys for all the comments and all the interactions tonight. Johnny, my friend, I will return the favor for you Friday evening.
All right, bud.
Much appreciated. Big time. I will be there for you on Friday. Let's make this happen. And thanks a lot, Johnny. Johnny, tell them exactly where to find you.
What's happening in sports? Friday nights right here on Bucs Report at 11 o'clock with Ray Kennedy.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Johnny. And Steven, thank you, my friend. And I will hopefully see you Friday night right back here on the Bucs Report Show.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
Have a great night.
You,
Thank you.
Great one.
All right, guys. I want to close this out just with a little bit more talk about the opener and what and the NFL schedule and how I think this whole thing is going to work out. Everybody talking about the Bucs are going to have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL, and I say, okay, they say that now. 3 weeks into the season, it looks entirely different, and you have to, then they'll come out with, well, at this point, who's got the easiest schedule, and it'll change 10 times. Look, the Bucs have a couple of things going in their favor. The first game, their Thursday night game, because every team plays at least one Thursday night game. All right, so the Bucs Thursday night game is going to be in week 1. That's an advantage for the Buccaneers, and it's at home. The second advantage is this. The second advantage is the teams that they are playing are not expected to be as good as who they've had to deal with the last couple of years. The third thing is no matter who you play, whether the schedule falls favorably or not, because let me tell you something, there's going to be a lot of prime time. Get ready, Bucs fans. There's going to be a lot of prime time. And I want to say this because I really want to be clear to you guys. I want to be clear. Remember last year saying the Bucs can't win in prime time? You remember that conversation? Remember that narrative? Remember all of that? Remember? Well, there's going to be a lot of prime time this year. So settle in and get ready. Maybe a Thanksgiving game. Maybe not. We don't know. We're going to find out Wednesday. And you want to tune in on Bucs Report to the over-under because that's where you're going to find out. That's where all the schedule talk's going to happen. That's where you can hang out with other Bucs fans and find out all about the schedule. Because as it breaks, as it is being released, you will hear about it on the over-under with Harry the Greek at 9 o'clock on Wednesday night. That's when the schedule's coming out, guys. Not just who they're playing, but when they're playing them. We're going to have a whole lot of info on Wednesday night. I appreciate you guys coming by. It was a great show. It was a whole lot of fun. You guys are awesome. You are absolutely awesome. I appreciate all of you so much. It was a good show tonight. I'm grateful to the special guests. Gene Thomas for coming by. Much appreciated. I am grateful to James from Mr. Bucks Nation coming by. I'm grateful to Skylar Callahan from Sports Illustrated coming by. And I'm grateful to all of you. I'm grateful to the Parrot Army for being out here, causing the pandemonium. I'm grateful for all of you guys like Richard Rayburn, Christopher Cole. Thank you, my friend. Stephen Glasker, as always. Mike DeRoche coming through. Matt Colson. All of you guys are just, you guys mean a ton to me. And I want you guys to all know, everybody in that chat room, that this show makes it because of you guys. So please share it. Please share this show. You don't understand how important it is when you make comments or you share, how much that helps this show. So I want to thank you guys for being here tonight. And I will look forward to seeing you on Friday night at 9 o'clock right back here on Bucs Report Live. We got lots of goodies coming up. But I'll also see you Wednesday night at the schedule unveiling, guys. The schedule unveiling Wednesday night right here on Bucs Report on the over-under. Don't miss that. Don't miss that. It's going to be awesome. Thanks for coming. Have a great night.